Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Shra He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanjakapatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Putale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nivishesha Shunyavare Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Nice. I feel like I'm in a transcendental dimension. Thank you, Manohar Prabhu. Okay, Janitai Prabhu. Oh, wait, hold on. Bhima Prabhu is interjecting here. Hold on.
You feel like you're on the transcendental platform.
Yes. Yes.
You are. You are. When Manohar speaks, you are riding a magic carpet to the transcendental platform.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. All right. Janitai Prabhu, would you like to read the verses? Please, dear devotees, be engaged, stay engaged, and back up Janitai Prabhu.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, everyone. So we didn't say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 77. And this chapter is entitled Lord Krishna Slays the Demon Shalva. And starting with text 1, and we'll go up through text 9. Since there's quite a few verses and time limited, I'll just read the English translations. Shukadeva Goswami said, after refreshing himself with water, putting on his armor, and picking up his bow, Lord Pradyumna told his driver, take me back to where the hero Duman is standing. Purport. By the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Pradyumna was eager to rectify the discrepancy of his having left the battlefield when his chariot driver carried him away unconscious. Okay, so we can come to this. And verse 2. In Pradyumna's absence, Duman had been devastating his army, but now Pradyumna counterattacked Duman and, smiling, pierced him with 8 Nadacha arrows. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti comments that Pradyumna challenged Duman, saying, now see if you can strike me. After saying this and allowing Duman to shoot his weapons, Pradyumna released his own deadly arrows. Okay, text 3. With 4 of these arrows, he struck Juman's 4 horses. With 1 arrow, his driver. With 2 more arrows, his bow and chariot flag. And with the last arrow, Juman's head. Pretty powerful, huh? How many arrows was it? 8 arrows at one time. Okay. Text 4. Gada, Satyaki, Samba, and others began killing Shalva's army, and thus all the soldiers inside the airship began falling into the ocean, their necks severed. Verse 5. As the Yadus and Shalva's followers thus went on attacking one another, the tumultuous, fearsome battle continued for 27 days and nights. Text 6 and 7. Invited by Yudhisthira, the son of Dharma, Lord Krishna had gone to Indraprastha. Now that the Rajasuya sacrifice had been completed and Shishupal killed, the Lord began to see inauspicious omens. So he took leave of the Kuru elders and the great sages, and also Prita and her sons, and returned to Dwarka. Text 8. The Lord said to himself, because I have come here with my respected elder brother, kings partial to Shishupal may well be attacking my capital city. Text 9 and the final verse for today. Shukadeva Goswami continued, after he arrived at Dwarka and saw how his people were threatened with destruction, and also saw Shalva and his Soba airship, Lord Keshava arranged for the city's defense and then addressed Daruka as follows. Purport. Lord Krishna placed Sri Balaram in a strategic position to guard the city, and he also appointed a special guard for Sri Rukmini and the other queens inside the palaces. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, by a secret route, special soldiers conveyed the queens to safety inside Dwarka. Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Om Gyana Timinandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshulaminithangena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shakal Pratrujescha Kripa Sindhu Jaycha Tirinam Pam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. None of our things become intoxicated. So Hare Krishna everyone. My apologies for the fact that speaker didn't show up and I'm sitting here saying something. Thank you very much for everyone's input so far, and really nice to hear from Jeffrey and Mike about their realizations. Very special. Unfortunately, I didn't have any time to prepare anything for this class. I guess we can open up and see if anyone has any thoughts so far on anything that has stood out to them. Otherwise, I have a few things that we could say about it. But if anyone would like to share anything, anyone here, anything that stood out to them from the verses and purports we read today? Yes, Manohar.
Hare Krishna. I just find it interesting, Krishna's kind of inconceivable arrangements, because knowing that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that he can also expand himself into over 16,108 forms, he technically could have been in Indraprastha and Dwarka at the same time. And what to speak about just being the Paramatma in the hearts, he could have just stopped it all from anywhere. But still, inconceivably, Krishna kind of arranges or allows these pastimes to occur. And so there could be a lot, we could go into a lot about why that might be, but I'm just reflecting on how cool it is, almost from like a cinematic perspective, of how Krishna is allowing these other soldiers, these other warriors, these other associates to have like a time to shine, so to say, a time where they can fight for Krishna, and they can fight for the city, and they can protect the queens of Dwarka. And they have that moment for like 28 days, it said, right? So it was just amazing. And then also, I was reflecting on how when Krishna did arrive, he said that he arranged for the defenses, and in the purport it revealed that he strategically placed Balaram in a specific place. And it made me think about the parallel of how Krishna in our life is always arranging for our protection. Even if he seems to be away from us, he's still aware. And what to speak about when he's near, and he arranges for that protection. And who is Balaram? We understand Balaram is Guru. So it's interesting that he places Guru in a specific place in our lives to protect the city of our hearts. So that we continue to offer it, and that there's special guard for the key of our hearts, Rukmini and the queens, who are the Hridini Shakti, which is the Bhakti Shakti, the potency. So I found it interesting that there's that parallel that Krishna arranges for that protection of our devotional keeper through the spiritual master and his other associates. So those are a few thoughts, a few reflections on these verses.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Manohar. You said everything I was going to say. Exactly what I was thinking. Beautiful. Anyone else? Any thoughts, reflections? Yes.
Bhima Prabhu has his hand up.
I can't see. Okay, Bhima, go side.
I hope that what I say ruins the second part of your class, Prabhu, as well. So if I find myself saying something that you would say, then I know I'm saying the right thing. What I wanted to do, based on Manohar's talking about Krishna being expanded into our hearts, we, at least myself, we come to understand that these pastimes, these Leela, why do we read this Leela? Because it's history, because it's gives us a clue into Krishna's personality, or helps to attract us to him, being the ideal of everything that we're attracted to, being the fountainhead of everything we're attracted to. Of course, these things are all true. But one of the things, as Manohar and yourself, Prabhu, is that that these adventures are available to us every day. In fact, if we live in an everyday, like sufficient unto the day is the evil, meaning not to worry about tomorrow and move on from the past, that Krishna becomes present because you're paying attention to him. It's very easy that's why we chant, we pay attention to Krishna in the present. And that, like Prabhupada and other great devotees in our lineage, even now within ISKCON, who have taken risk in the cause of devotional service, not worried about steadiness, not worried about whether their service is going to be interrupted, not worried about the criticisms, or at least the observations of others on your life. That if you take that risk, like Arjuna did on the battlefield with Krishna, abandon all varieties of religion, meaning you're taking a risk to actually step outside the envelope, like Prabhupada did. He literally had to not listen to what was being whispered to him, even in the juncture of going overseas. So these things of always understanding that Krishna is going to protect us should encourage us, enthuse us to take risks and adventures in Krishna's service. Hare Krishna.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Bhima Prabhu. And yeah, that was the other thing I was going to say. Believe it, Krishna's just arranging perfectly. No, I wasn't going to say any of those things. And that's really amazing. And yeah, I love that taking risk. What is it? There's one quote: "He who dares wins." You know. So yeah, and if we trust in Krishna, then we can take risks for Krishna. And I think it was William who was just mentioning, or no, Mike, about the chasing rhinos with the Swami. And
Come on.
and Sham Sundar Prabhu explains that actually it was always exciting with Prabhupada and the service of Krishna. He was always adventurous and they were taking chances and taking risks and just going, where no man had gone before with Krishna consciousness. And he was saying that when you live like that, you see Krishna regularly. You see Krishna at every moment. You see how he shows up to help and protect his devotees. Beautiful. Anyone else? Bhima still got his hand raised, but I guess he's not going to say anything else. But Adipurushpur, you were about to say something before. And that might be my third point also.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me okay? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So always, but especially today, hearing Mike speak, hearing Jeffrey Eckler speak, hearing Johnny Ty speak, hearing you speak, Bhima, we relish the information, but also there's the enhancement of hearing Srila Prabhupada speaking through these different devotees, hearing their faith, hearing their joy, enthusiasm, and the wisdom that Prabhupada is giving us all. And I personally, my spiritual master, I love hearing Srila Prabhupada's voice. Besides what he's saying, I love hearing from him, from the person, and his particular personality, and his tone of his voice, and the consciousness behind such a solid, clear, declarative sentences one after the other. He's not saying what I wanted to say or what I think. He's just saying, Krishna says this. And it's refreshing because we're living in a world where there's so much information and partial truths and outright lies and distortions and frivolous and degrading words, even from people in pseudo leadership positions, that when you hear the truth, it's like taking a bath. It's like sharpening a knife, and it has a uplifting effect. In the old days, in every temple, every morning, we would play Srila Prabhupada speaking for 5 minutes. And then it's what did Prabhupada say? Well, Prabhupada said. And hearing Prabhupada's voice every day for at least a few minutes. And we used to have a program here in the Bhakti Center where on Ekadasi, we listened to Prabhupada's class. And somehow we've moved on. There are other ways of presenting Krishna consciousness, but I personally relish hearing the voice of my spiritual master, his personality behind the presentation of the information, and I'm suggesting, I feel like Prabhupada destiny suggests that we hear from Srila Prabhupada on a daily basis together in the class, at least for a few minutes, or at least once every 2 weeks, let Prabhupada speak directly. And every time I hear Prabhupada speak, I'm thinking, right. Of course, I'm hearing it all from the other devotees, but I'm personally just sharing that somehow or other I feel a connection to my spiritual master by what he has to say. And If we can't do it in class, I do it at other times, but I'm hoping that we'll go back to doing that together because Prabhupada is speaking and he is sustaining us and he is, I hear Dr. Shikhar's here. Gosh, when Shik speaks,
Yes.
It's like magical because he's always absorbed in Shastra, Jotendra, Taru, the particular devotees that I know are just like, they're like so into the Bhagavatam that every time you talk to them, even for a minute, there it is. The personality and their joy and faith and the truth being presented by a person. So anyway, that's what I feel Krishna's telling me to say today. And I don't know if it'll land on fertile ground or maybe it's just the way I feel. But Krishna is so wonderful that he sends us Guru. Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
Adipusha Prabhu, he'll be we actually going back to hearing from Srila Prabhupada directly regularly. Yeah, by Jainita and Bhava Bhakti Devi Prabhu's grace, we're going to hear Srila Prabhupada regularly every month. Start in December though. Start in December.
Adi always has an agenda when he speaks.
I know.
He's still steering the ship. He won't let go of the ship. It's
Thank you.
always a good agenda, though. Always a good one.
Yeah. Thank you, Adipusha Prabhu.
I'm speaking what I feel. Before I speak, I'm asking Prabhupada, what do you want me to say? And Bhima sometimes says, don't say that because you think people have to listen to you. But I do pray like that. And that's our intention, not what I want to say, what I think. I'm just praying, Prabhupada, what do you want to say? So I hope that he will grant that request. And
Bhima Prabhu, do you pray like that before you interject?
No, what happens is my mind bursts out with, I better refute what he just said because I feel the necessity to refute Adi all the time. It's just our constitutional position. But no, he's right. It does help to pray for this and that and that and this, everything. If you get in the habit of praying, whether you open your, in my case, big fat mouth, or whether you are doing some service or about to have a about to have some type of relationship with someone, if you're always praying, then pretty soon you'll find that Krishna is always answering. And Adipurush is right on that level. Is as we approach Krishna, he makes himself available.
Looks like a few devotees had their hand raised. Krishna Kumari. But yeah, just on that, quickly on that point, yeah, literally just a day or so ago, we sent a message to Ananda Biharipu that we'd like to schedule Prabhupada to give talk at least once every 2 weeks. Once every 2 weeks to start with, but something. In lots of places, at least in London, we used to do it every week. Prabhupada would speak he would have a designated day, and every week systematically sometimes going. But anyway, Shikshastra Prabhu, and then Krishna Kumari Devi, and then Venetia, and I guess Bhima can lower his hand. Shikshastra Prabhu, you're on mute, Prabhu. Still mutated. Maybe we come back to you.
He's open. There you go.
There it is. You're good.
Can't hear
You're unmuted, but we still can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
Oh, now we can. Perfect.
Okay. Hare Krishna. I really appreciated the that Adipurusha was making about we're hearing Prabhupada through the and I've that's our only link to Krishna and the pure devotee is through the devotees. So I really I'm going to be depending on this more anything in the coming days because I need to be talked down from the ledge. at this point. Um, I just wrote this on my Facebook page, and maybe somebody can talk me down, okay? Because you know, these are just my thoughts. I'm trying to surrender to Krishna. I know that we all get what we deserve and desire, but you know, I'm trying through the devotees to get some help, and you know, because I need it right now. Anyway, I posted this. I said, I can't help but think of this milestone. The first was that when Krishna left the planet, marking the beginning of Kali Yuga, then came the golden age that began 500 years ago with the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then moved worldwide when Prabhupada came to this country. That was supposed to last for 10,000 years. Yesterday was his disappearance day. And now I fear the beginning of the end of this miniature golden age started prematurely. The implementation of Project 2025 will turn this country into a one-party state run by bogus Christian nationalists. And that spells the end of what Prabhupada saw as the utility of this country, to serve as a guiding light to lead the world, illuminating the way back to Godhead. That window of opportunity has now permanently closed, and we've joined the axis of authoritarian states like Russia, China, Iran, etc.
This isn't a platform for, I think, that kind of conversation. With all due respect, I'd like to request that we can have a conversation offline, but this isn't the place for that.
I just want to hear.
Please forgive me. We'd like to
Sure.
move on.
Amen.
Krishna Kumari, please forgive us, Shikshastra Guru. I take the heat for all of that, but there's a lot of shaking heads in the room, and we're going to ask, please, if you.
Okay, you don't want to hear it. Bye.
Thank you. Krishna Kumari, David.
I just first want to just say to Shikshastika Prabhu that I'm just holding space for you, that you get some comfort in the holy names in Prabhupada today. And secondly, just why people were making requests, I deeply would love it if we did word for word in the Sanskrit, at least for one verse, because I feel like
Everything.
that's how we learn what the words mean. So that was my request. I've been just really feeling like we skim over and then for my like very weak mind. Yeah, I would just love to.
Noted, Krishna Kumari. Well noted. Thank you so much for your feedback. I'm sure it will be reintroduced.
Great. And Prabhupada did bring
and
me
enforced
to the Bhakti Center last night. It wasn't part of my plan. Just by hearing Doyal speak yesterday morning and all the devotees, I ended up in New York City last night just to be with the devotees. So I just feel so grateful for that pull on my heart. Hare Krishna.
Right. Thank you, Krishna Kumari.
Maybe you can mention to her, Prabhu, that was also another thing that was in the message that we sent about trying to do that for at least one verse.
Yeah.
Venetia Devi had her hand raised.
Venetia.
Mother Venetia?
Where is she?
Oh, yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually just wanted to respond to Krishna Kumari. It was so lovely to see you last night across the room. I felt your devotion in huge waves, that you had obviously made it down from, quote, upstate to the city. I could feel that you were just pulled by Srila Prabhupada, and it was beautiful to see. And thank you so much for gracing us with your presence last night. It really was wonderful to see you. And I just also wanted to respond to what Adi said. I think it was very moving, the idea of hearing from Srila Prabhupada every day. And maybe we ease into it, but I just would, I also think that what Adi says is so important in general, but he is being empowered by his spiritual master, and he is hearing directly from Srila Prabhupada as to what to say. So I certainly, for one, take it very, very seriously. And the notion of hearing from Prabhupada every day is lovely, I think. And just throwing it out there, not looking to rock the boat. There are these YouTube shorts, which are so nice. Our own dear Gora Sharan puts them together, some of them. And they're not even 5 minutes. Like some of them are like 3 minutes. Like it's not, very little time, but each of them is so precious. And I would welcome them in the rhythm of this class if that fit. But I definitely defer to the powers that be in terms of easing us to that place. But I just really want to appreciate and respect what Adi said. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Bhima Prabhu, is that your hand raised again, or are you
Yeah.
still left over from previous hand raisings?
No, my hand's always up. I'm that excitable kid in the classroom with ADHD. I just want to say that there's a very nice, like Venetia said, first of all, those are called Prabhupada. If anybody knows, please put it in the messages, because it's unbelievable. You get those daily, literally 1 minute, and it's that portion of class which is the crescendo or the denouement of the whole class comes down into one statement Prabhupada makes, and people, devotees have gone in there and astutely brought these out. And so similarly, I'm thinking one of the reasons why we don't do word for word transliteration is because of the time it takes. But I do think that if we go in there and find the essential words, the essential concepts, and say the Sanskrit instead of just and thus, and going through that, which takes up valuable time in a class, you go in there, and I always appreciate a lecturer or a person giving class who says, okay, well, this word here, such and such, means something very important in this context. And then they parse it out. And then that way, when you go away from the class, at least for someone like myself who can only hold on to so much, that one word, if I can hang on to it, that is Sanskrit, that's in the Shastra, and that has been elaborated on in a purport. That's a nice compromise. So I just wanted to say that yes, we do need Prabhupada's words, but we can also take the essential condensed version and go with that as well. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only about a minute, but we want to respond to Shikshastra Prabhu's heartfelt distress about the current situation in the world. And we just want to say that Prabhupada would say there may be some formidable demoniac personalities engaged in nefarious and mischievous and hellish activity, but Krishna is more powerful than any demon. And the demons are basically, Prabhupada would say, bound up by the modes of material nature. If there's a big demon, but he's tied up with ropes from head to toe, we're not afraid of him because Krishna's there. And it's actually his glory that he has such formidable adversaries. So we appreciate the heartfelt emotion and distress that Shikshastra was expressing. And it is in one sense appropriate, but we don't want to leave out the fact that Krishna's got it all in hand, and we're not really that worried. Like when the Kaliya serpent had Krishna all wrapped up, and Balaram was not, in anxiety like everybody else was. He knew Krishna's cool, no problem. Thank you for your daily shares, Shikshastra, but we hope you'll feel welcome. And you asked us to beat down your your concern, so we're trying to respond to that request. Well, where's the show, Prabhupada?
Hare Krishna. I also have a thought.
Manoharji.
Hare Krishna. In relation again to the verse of today, I was remembering when Srila Prabhupada first met his spiritual master, and he was debating with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur about the state of the political affairs, that first they would have to gain independence before the sharing of Krishna consciousness. The spiritual master emphatically said, no, the only need of the world is the spreading of Krishna consciousness, and it cannot be checked by any social concern. And so that was true then. It's absolute truth. It was true then It's true now, it'll be true tomorrow. And we can see that even in Krishna's pastimes, this principle was true. And we see how his devotees at that time enacted it. I mean, what to speak of political variegatedness. Krishna is coming from a Rajasuya sacrifice, which the entire world is trying to be pulled under the umbrella of King Yudhishthira's rule. And at the same time, Krishna's kingdom is being attacked. And so it's a lot of, variegatedness in what everything's going on. But yet in those situations, it said, Prabhupada says that for a devotee, everything is auspicious because in success, King Yudhishthira is praising Krishna and becoming more Krishna consciousness. And in distress, the citizens of Dwarka are calling out for Krishna and increasing their absorption. And what happens as a result? Krishna comes, Balaram comes, the devotees come, and everything is taken care of very nicely, as we'll see. So I think the conch shell is blowing now. Thank you.
Thank you, Manohar Prabhu. This is typical material world. Summer, winter, service is going, no matter what. Thank you for keeping the cameras on, dear devotees. Thank you.
We're not in the typical material world anymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not anymore.
Drive safely, Bhima. Prabhu.
Shri Radha Munida Gora Chanjana Sama Bhagavan Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Hare Krishna. This was the class. Thank you, dear devotees, for your feedback, for your interjections, prayerful interjections, corrections, for your smiles. So would anyone like to speak? This is the afterglow. Jeffrey Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I know that there are many opinions and many thoughts about things going on in the material world, but I'm reminded that in Nectar of Devotion is one of the 64 practices that we're to pay obeisance to Ganesha and accept that there is no question of impediment, and that Prabhupada, with his actions throughout his life, illustrated that for us. He was the example of allaying impediment before they even existed. There was no stopping him, and despite repeated input from many who believed the same things that he believed, but thought that he might be, stepping outside of what is realistic, he continued. And I guess the point is persevere. In the name of Guru, in the name of Krishna, persevere. And victory is ours. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Jeffrey Prabhu. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam, King of Books, Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, from whom we're going to be hearing regularly, starting December. Ki Jai. Everybody on this call, Ki Jai. Everybody on YouTube, Ki Jai. Praying that you remain in devotional service despite whatever may happen out there. It's always within it's up to us how to react, and that's our freedom, whether we choose to stick to Krishna and Prabhupada or other things. No one can take that from us. We choose our reaction.